I would be lying if I said to you I ain't worried about this title race and Arsenal's chances in the league. City beating Chelsea 3-0 at Stamford Bridge yesterday off the back of Arsenal losing at home to Bournemouth in a poor performance. And that's the back of them beating Liverpool in the quarter-final of the FA Cup convincingly 4-0 and also beating Arsenal 2-0 in the Carabao Cup final convincingly as well. So with all the positivity and the belief that I have in this team, the support that I give this team, I'm not going to come here and lie in your face and say I'm not worried. Arsenal are playing poorly. The momentum is 100% in City's favour, and we play them at their home ground next week, where for what a title race should have been cleaned up, finished by now, or at least be in such a comfortable position. Arsenal have made it a race. Arsenal have made it a fight. Arsenal have made it a situation where we could potentially bottle this league. I think the most worrying thing, and obviously you saw my reaction after the Bournemouth game, I was livid, I was angry, is the football and the way that we're playing and the way that we're not able to turn it on at points in games to, get over the line or, get ourselves a foothold in the game and put pressure on the opponents and create chances and constantly create openings is a real worry. And that's on the shoulders of Mikel Arteta. There's no one else that you can blame. The players, of course, have 100% responsibility, but Mikel is the one who sets up the team. Mikel is the one who can influence the team game to game. And we've seen this trend throughout this season. At the end of the day, we are in still a good position, of course. Still 6 points ahead of City. They have a game in hand, and I'm treating, I think, the game in hand against Palace at home as a win. I'm treating it that they will win that game. So it's 3 points with even games played going into that Etihad game, essentially, is what I'm saying. And Arsenal can afford to not lose that game. So Arsenal can afford to draw that game. And I guess it will be more damaging for City because obviously they're the chasers. And it will still keep the gap officially at 6 points, but basically 3 points. But at the same time, Arsenal have the tools and I believe have the ability to go and beat City at the Etihad if they want to stand up and be counted for. We haven't lost at the Etihad for the last 3 years. We've played, we play in a way that can cause City problems. The question is, are we going to? Is Mikel gonna potentially make risky changes? Are we gonna see certain players available? Are we gonna see a certain lineup and a certain mentality and belief within these players to say, do you know what? Nah, we're not letting this title slip. We're not letting another a third year or fourth year go where we're not winning the league or we're finishing second. And this year, the worst, where we've been top of the league for I can't know how long, at least since probably, September, if I'm correct, maybe September or October. So I'm not having it, but I'm definitely worried because you see, I've said many a time on my channel, Man City are not the same Man City, and they aren't the same Man City, in my opinion. But at the same time, they are Man City. They are still a very good team. I've said they're not going to click and have that kind of run of form that they've shown in previous years, but the way that they're looking, Carabao Cup final, the FA Cup, now this game against Chelsea, a game that if you looked before this game week, you would have said Arsenal 100% would beat Bournemouth, which is why I had a lot of confidence, obviously, post the Carabao Cup final, post the quarter-final loss, because I said Arsenal should be beating Bournemouth at home, and Chelsea away is a difficult game. Obviously, this is before the weekend was played. The minute Arsenal lost that game, I said yesterday that City would probably go on and beat Chelsea. Yes, you would want a favour from Chelsea, and I think in the first half, Chelsea started well. They probably were a better team. They kind of nullified City. City weren't able to penetrate so much. Chelsea had a couple of chances, offside goal, etc. But similar to the Carabao Cup final, City kind of in the first half, Arsenal were decent. A couple of openings, to kind of pin City back, etc., etc. But City started to get a foothold in the game. In the second half, they absolutely turned it up in that Carabao Cup final, and it was similar in the Chelsea game. They turned it up. They absolutely turned it up, and they put Chelsea to bed. And they look scary because you're seeing players like O'Reilly contributing, floating around from left back, inverting. Bernardo and Rodri and Cherki showing his magic throughout the game. Haaland's not even scoring, and they're playing. Doku's a wasteful player, but obviously in the second half he became more deadly. Semenyo, of course, what his quality is, and he getting a goal there. What he's added to defensively. Donnarumma making a couple of good saves, and Kushnerov has had a really good improvement from what I rated them. So it's City will be have smelt blood, are definitely smelling blood, and will be licking their lips at the opportunity to potentially, grab this title and, have a treble, which will be catastrophic. Arsenal do not win this league. But at the same time of me moaning and groaning, and obviously other fans moaning and groaning, because we know how our fan base is, and of course, and everyone is valid, because right now we shouldn't be in this position. We shouldn't be going into the City game where we could potentially lose the game, and then we're going to be going into the rest of the games basically level on points. The goal difference is only 3 now off the back of them getting that 3-0 win, so it's not even like there's a goal difference advantage. That's gone. How are we in the situation? So the anger is valid, but at the end of the day, football moves on, and we're still in an advantageous situation. I think Mikel's got, I think I didn't like Mikel's quote in the press conference where he talked about we would have taken this position at the beginning of the season, because 100%, because it's true. It's not like what he's saying is false, but I don't want to hear that right now, because we've been in a great position for a long time, and many a time during the season could we have potentially extended this position, or potentially not given City a olive branch within the title race, and we've done that constantly. And of course, in our first title win in 22 years, if it is to be this season, which I believe it still will be, or still can be, I should say, it's not going to be easy. Especially not it being Arsenal. Nothing goes smoothly for Arsenal. I think us as Arsenal fans understand that we want it to be, and I wish it would be, and I hope moving forward it is. But the first one wouldn't be. But it shouldn't be. It hasn't been smooth, and we got to this situation now where we dropped out the competitions. But you win your home game against Bournemouth. They're not an easy team to play against. They're a good team, and they played amazing, and they deserve the win. But that shouldn't happen in a title race for a team trying to go for the league that hasn't won at home. Can't happen. But Mikel's got to reset. The players got to reset. Luckily, in my opinion, we do have the Champions League game, and it's not a week of just constant training and thoughts and everyone in the head and the narratives and reactions and talk and all that kind of stuff. We have an opportunity to play at home again, kind of right things wrong at home, get to the Champions League semi-final against potentially an Atletico or Barcelona. We saw how Barcelona played against Espanyol on the weekend. They're definitely, gearing their gears up for a big game, away against Atletico. But Arsenal have an opportunity to get some momentum, and I think I always talk about this. We lost the momentum. The little momentum we got against Sporting last week, because we lost in a bad way against Bournemouth, and then City now, capitalize on that loss even more. Like if City drew, it wouldn't have necessarily be. They would have got an advantage, but it wouldn't have been the one they wanted. But they got a win, and not only a win, they got a 3-0 win away from home in an emphatic way. They could have scored more goals as well. So, reset. What does a reset look like? I think a reset looks like where obviously we'll see the fitness of some players. Obviously, Eze is back in the team. We'll see what Odegaard is saying. We'll see if Saka is ready to go potentially in this game, or if he'll be fully ready on Sunday. We'll see if what's it called? We'll see if Nkapie has the legs to play in this game. What's going on with Calafiori? But for me, I think Mikel's got obviously in this game, we want to win the game, but you can also potentially set a precedent in terms of how tactically we play, how we go about playing football, and maybe the players that he plays in certain positions to try and enable us. Obviously, fitness is a real key in this, but I think certain players should be fit, and even if certain players are not fit, I think that there needs to be a difference. If Nkapie is fit and can play minutes, could Lewis Skelly see a shot in midfield? Zubimendi's really struggling. Zubimendi's really struggling right now. Zubimendi's an amazing player. We know this. He started off the season well. He's shown a lot of quality throughout the season, but he either seems leggy, or he seems mentally out of it, or something's wrong there. And I think sometimes you've got to take players out of the firing line. I don't think it needs to necessarily be a like for like, like Norgard coming in. Can a Lewis Skelly go in midfield and play Lewis Skelly next to Rice at the 6, and then maybe you play Aneze at the 10? Can you start Max Darman on the right if Saka isn't fit for this game? Can Darman start in the Champions League game? And can we see potentially what he can do from the start? Can we see Timber potentially come back and Saka and obviously they're on the bench, get some minutes and get ready for Sunday? Can we see us play more attacking, with more confidence, more ownership? Like, can the midfield show on the ball when the defenders and the keepers on the ball? Raya clearly wants to play line breaking passes and wants to play players, but show. And when you do get the ball, not just a bounce back pass. Of course, yes, move it. Don't be silly, but be confident to receive it between the lines and turn, and then punch it again between the lines. Not just a sideways pass or not just a backwards pass, because that's what puts fear into teams. That's what pushes teams back. That's what penetrates teams. That's what gets players in dangerous positions. And these players receiving the ball between the lines, can you make good options? Yes, I trust Adama receiving the ball and at least carrying and driving. The same thing with Aneze, but do it constantly. Be threatening. And then those attacking players, whether it's a Martinelli as a Trossard, whether it's a Havertz as a Coquez up front, take your chance, bro. Be clinical. Show some level of quality. But that has to come from how we set up, and that comes from how the lineup's put out, and then in terms of the messaging. And then when we go into that City game, can you play physical? Can you defend resolutely? And then can you attack? City still have frailties in defence. Still, City don't have the legs in midfield. Yes, they move the ball well. But when you get the ball, can you cause them threats? I saw Chelsea, Caicedo and Andre Santos and Palmer, at least in the first half, getting the ball between the lines and giving the ball to Esteban and Pedro Neto. Maybe the quality wanes there. Obviously, Pedro Neto is a good player. But can we do that? Can we get the ball to, if Saka's playing on Sunday, to Saka early between the lines to get 1v1s against O'Reilly, or maybe the space that O'Reilly has vacated going up? Can we get Martinelli in behind? Because I probably want Martinelli playing the game, trying to capitalise on that high line against a Nunes. I would love for Havertz to play, because I think he will be able to offer us a bit more hold up and a bit more variability in our play. But whoever plays in the 9, can you give us some hold up play? Can you be physical? Can you win fouls? And can you be a threat? And then midfielders, be confident and be bold. You can't. That's why it's about who he plays. Maybe Odegaard might be back. Zubimendi, he probably will run in that game again, and Rice. Even though I probably would love it to be a Rice, Eze, and Odegaard type of midfield or a play. But we probably won't see that from Mikel. But if it is the midfield of Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard, if Eze maybe plays off the left, can we see a difference? Obviously, Eze probably will play in the 10 because Odegaard is not going to be fit. But can we see a difference in our play? Can we see a difference in our play? If Timber comes back, I want to see Doku get shot up shop. I know it's going to be a hard task if he doesn't get minutes in the Sporting game. But that's what we have, an opportunity. At the end of the day, everyone's writing us off, the negative Arsenal fans, all the opposition fans, the media, because they're asking the question, are you going to bottle it again? You've seen that you guys have done this. You can start as a refresh, 6 games left. I think for us, 6 games left. And say, do you know what? We got a 6-point lead or 3-point lead. We'll go into our rivals. The minimum we have to do is not lose this game, but we can go there and win and have a level of belief. But that belief comes in how we set up, the players that are playing, and then what those players do within the game. Yes, City will have moments where they're going to pop the ball and move the ball around. They're a good team. But when you have the ball, what are you doing? When you're defending, are you showing a level of heart? And are you not making mistakes that are giving and gifting good quality players goals? It's a big week for Mikel. It's a big week for these players, because at the end of the day, there will be hellstorm loose if Arsenal don't win this league, but it will be warranted. At the end of the day, they have the control of it. All things haven't been lost yet. Even a loss against City still makes things level, but then it's in both teams' hands and there's superb pressure. So for me, it's not a draw, getting a draw, but playing well, defending resolutely, creating chances, and it being a tough game. Maybe you don't convert the chances, but it's a draw. You can take something from that, because it still stays at 6.3 points. You still have an advantage. You're still in control because it's not in City's hands. But don't go and just lay down and lose the way we did in the Carabao Cup final and the way we have been looking recently, the Southampton game as well. It's all on you guys. We'll see what we do in the Champions League game against Sporting. I do expect us to go through, but I want to see a reaction in the football. I want to see a reaction in the passion. I want to see a level of anger and ownership from these players and Mikel as well. No more talking, no more, you know what I'm saying, all this like bring your boots and breakfast and all that stuff, Mikel. I get behind it, I understand it, but no more of that, man. Get in, do your job, go home. Because at the end of the day, it's do or die time. And we're in the title race. It shouldn't have been a race, but we're in the title race now. And in this title race, it's been 1-0 to City. So you got to take a big blow, because next week it could be 2-1 to us, because it's basically a 6-pointer. Because I believe we can win this title. I still believe in these boys. I still believe in this manager. I still believe in this team. And the opportunity is there. It's always going to be difficult. Doesn't mean like we've had a big, massive, couple of weeks, a big blow and punch in the face. And this is the biggest blow of them all this weekend, given the fact that we lost and City won. But you have an opportunity to punch an even bigger blow next week. And I believe that we can. I genuinely believe that we can. I genuinely believe in this manager. I believe in this coach. But they have to prove it to us. Belief is one thing, action's another. And that's got to start on on Wednesday against Sporting at home, but it's 100% got to be carried over or implemented or shown even tenfold against Man City on Sunday, because you punch a hole in their title hopes and their momentum and their giddiness and everyone else's support of Man City, and you reignite your own belief and your own feeling, and definitely the fans. So it's there, and we'll see how we're standing at the end of Sunday evening. But for now, I mean next Sunday evening, but for now, this is where we're at, man. So it's the biggest week. It's always the biggest week. It's always going to continue being the biggest week. But with everything that's gone on, this is a massive, humongous week for Mikel Arteta and a lot of these Arsenal players. So go win that title. Go show to us, go show the world, go show yourselves that you want to win this title. Because I know that you do. I'm not going to say that you don't. But when the going gets tough and when shit hits the fan and when you show moments of frailties, this is where you show that you want to win. You show that you believe you can win, and you show that you're going to do everything you think you can. And that is, I'm mainly saying that to Mikel Arteta, whether that means back to the drawing board, resetting things, implementing something new or refreshing or interesting. And the players as well taking a level of ownership and anger to play football and be footballers and show a level of quality to win games. Then you'll do it. I don't want to put any negativity in the air anymore. I don't want to sit here and complain and whine. Like, I'm not one of those fans I'm not one of those people that just does that. I try to look at solutions, I try to look at resolutions, and I try to see if you can show me that you feel the same pain and anger and annoyance and the same want and will for this that I have. Subscribe to the channel, let me know what you guys think about what I've said. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.